So, I want to talk about the problems of living in Florida on a budget. One of the biggest problems is you don't realize those extra expenses, such as cockroach problems. Sometimes you can get them under control, and sometimes you can't. It's a real pain in the butt. The other problem is ants. We have the little sugar ones that come into the house. We have the ones that keep making their happy homes all over around your property. These sprays and insecticides, they cost money. If you hire someone to do it, it costs even more money. Upkeep. Humidity is hard on everything. It's hard on your car, it's hard on your mobile home, it's hard on your house and your roof. It costs a lot of money to live down here. A lot of money. And, that's why I know what I'm doing isn't sustainable on my present income. My recommendation, I don't have a lot for those on a very low income trying to come to Florida. I'd say if you're 62, start applying to all the low income apartments all over Florida. Just apply everywhere. And eventually, hopefully something will come up. I haven't heard from anybody. One of them, it's been a couple of years, and I even was on a list up in Kennebunk, and they called me once for an apartment where you had to pay the regular rent, and I said, we don't even have an income. That was like 3.5 years ago, before Dennis got his Social Security benefit. So the price of water went up another 4%. My electric has gone up. If I were on the budget I'm on and I were coming down here for the first time, I would probably, if it's affordable, get a truck and a little pull camper. That way, if you can afford campgrounds, and some of them inland are pretty affordable. There is one down the street for me that I think is like $330 a month. It's on the water. More like a gnats. That's the other problem. Oh my God. It's driving me insane. I mean, everything I do for these things, it just, none of it's sustaining and long lasting. And if you're, if you're in an older mobile home, that's a real problem because they're loose. You can't really keep roaches out unless you can get underneath, which you can't on this end, the big bedroom side. It's like, inches. No one can get underneath it. You'd have to, I don't know. I don't think you can jack these up. 1981, it's been sitting here forever. It probably would fall apart. Yep. I don't recommend mobile home in park living in Florida for several reasons. One, if you're in a park, your rent goes up every year. We've gone from, I think when we moved in it was $375, and now I'm going to be $480 in January. 3 years. That's a lot of money. That's more than $100, isn't it? Over a 3-year period per month, okay? If your income isn't going up, but your rent is going up, and your electric is going up, and your water is going up, what are you supposed to do? If I was going to live in a park, I'd want to have, well, there's the other thing. And if you own a home up north and your income isn't enough to sustain that home, they check your finances. They want to make sure they're going to get their rent without a problem. So you've got to have 3 times the rent and disposable income to get into one of these places. I just slid by the 375 when I first moved in. Now I wouldn't be able to get into this park or any other park. And, that's been a issue of concern for me. Now, if you're just camping and you're just going to do like a 6-month term with them, that doesn't apply mostly. And the other thing is like if you've saved it up and you want to be in a park, you can pay the whole amount up front. And that might help. It depends on the park. Everybody's different. Some are more lenient, some are not. The real fancy ones, they're not lenient. They, show me the money. That's the way it goes. Plenty of places to camp overnight, dry, Walmart parking lots, Firestone, Cracker Barrel, all night, food places, 7-Elevens. There's plenty of places that you could get away with parking overnight, truck stops. I have even in the past, when we came down here as a family and we were just buying, selling, and doing shows and not renting anything, we've gone into the bigger motel parking lots and just parked, away from where everybody else would normally park, try to be respectful. This is not going to be sustainable for me. I'm having a lot of issues with my back and my hands, and I'm even very nervous about doing this show that's coming up. As a matter of fact, I really need to get out there and get into another box. I want to have as much stock with me as is humanly possible. So basically, if you're doing $1,000 or less a month, you're not going to be able to move into a mobile home park. It's not going to happen. It's something to consider. You could always try to rent a room, but now those are getting really expensive too because so many people want to come to Florida. You used to be able to find a room for $350, $400 a month, just a room in a home. But I'm not seeing that much anymore. I'm seeing $600, $750, $800, $950 for a room. But I guess, it's so hard to get into an apartment now. My kids are paying like $1,200 a month for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and it's old. It's old and it's always being repaired. Something's always breaking there. And they tried to find a house to rent and they couldn't. They go really fast, even at 16, 17, 18, 2,000 a month. You really have to be on it. You really have to be fast, and your credentials had better be clean as a whistle because they have so many choices. Well, I've gone over 8 minutes, so that's what I kind of wanted to talk about today is living in Florida, the difficulties when you're on low income, when you have one income, makes it very hard. Now, the other thing you could do is if you have a cousin, a friend, a sibling, an uncle, whatever, that you could share with, that would make it much easier. You have your income and their income, but their credit had better be clean and their background has to be clean. One thing the manager did tell me is she said, we used to be able to go all the way back with the background check. Now they can only do a few years. So if you had something 5 years ago, it's probably not going to come up here in Florida. So there you have it, which kind of makes it's scary to live in a low-income park because with that new law in place, you really don't know what you're getting for a neighbor. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.